Hey there friends and enemies, JoPaWrites here once again, and today I have another Tiny Tina's Wonderlands video for you. This one checking out my toxic Hexecutioner build that I've been absolutely loving in all sorts of content in the game. Now if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, helps me out tremendously. Shows you want to see more content from me going forward. I have my Stabomancer, I'm finalizing the build on that. I'm also going to be mixing up my spell shot with other classes for other builds as well, just to test them out, because I have found a lot of gear pieces in the Chaos Chamber that I'd love to use but haven't got a chance to yet. Also, let me know in the comments down below, what class are you maining and which class would you love to see builds on going forward. I'd love to hear from you guys. I'm definitely going to be doing multiple classes in this game and pretty much going through them all over the course of time to get all of my different builds done. Now, jumping right into it, some of the things that I am really focusing on with this build. Now, obviously we've got the spell weaving, which casting a spell or reloading grants spell weaving, increasing spell damage. That's huge. Gonna play a major part later on down the line. Also, we got our Wyvern Companion. I just like the idea of having like a Dragon Mage. So this build might not be the most broken at Chaos level 20. However, it can beat all the content and is a lot of fun. So definitely keep that in mind. But this build was more fun than anything, and I've really enjoyed it. Now, going through, we've got Ambihextress. That's what I'm using. 2 spells is absolutely huge and the key to this build. We've got Magic Bullets maxed out. Then we've got Spell Sniper, which spell critical increased by 72%. That's actually massive. Spell and cooldown rate and action skill cooldown rate are increased. Obviously, this is plays a big part in things. Whenever the Fatemaker gains a stack of spell weaving, a portion of his ward is restored. That's important because the Fatemaker no longer automatically recharges his ward, but he gains drastically increased spell damage. So my spell damage is massive. So I'll explain my decision making a little bit later on why I chose like the armor and whatnot that I did. Max spell weaving stacks are increased. We get these all the time, so that's why I want them as high as possible. Whenever he casts spells guns, deal bonus damage of that spell's element. This is a vital part of the build, and I'm going to explain why, but this actually comes in handy way more often than I think most people would realize. Whenever a spell, the Fatemaker scores a critical hit with a spell, he deals bonus gun damage of his gun's element. Fatemaker gains increased gun damage per stack of spell weaving, and then gun critical hits have a chance to instantly reset all spell cooldowns. You'll see this quite a bit where I'll be going through, and then all of a sudden I'll have my spells right back up. I also went for this character lightning damage exclusively. I can do enough damage with fire that I don't really need it, so that's why lightning damage is huge. Damage reduction, again, I wanted to make him kind of like a Dragon Mage, a little bit tankier, and then he grants himself and all allies increased elemental damage, which is big, and then killing an enemy with a gun, or whenever the Wyvern Companion kills an enemy with a breath attack, summons a fire orb. So you'll see that from time to time as well, popping out. Lightning orb, fire orb, sometimes they do happen. So the Wyvern Companion gains damage dealt, and then will occasionally use Lightning Breath, and additionally gains an increased damage reduction. Again, a little bit tankier because of the fact that I will never have my ward up. Now, as far as what I've been using, so start off with this Venomous Mage of Staff of Edginess. I do like this a lot, and on spell cast, increased poison damage. I kept that because the spell I'm using is a poison spell, and because I'm not running a poison gun. That allows me to deal with armor without having it on my weapons, because like I said, with the way that my spells work, if I cast this spell and then I can use any of these guns and it will still deal the poison damage. Same thing if I use this, the Surging Buffmeister. That's why I don't need fire weapons as much. I do have one, but I can use my liquid cooling in order to, I'll cast this spell and I'll do fire and the cryo damage. So that's huge. So I use the exaggerated little case of breaded slicer. This is just fun. I love it. It's not the most effective. I do need better reload speed on it, but it is a blast. This I just recently got, the Knuckled Rain of Arrows of the Riveter. This shoots like a rain of arrows down in a small area, but it does pretty good damage for that, especially once I get my Buffmeister combo with this gun. It's actually a lot of fun. Chilling, liquid cooling, this thing is what you'll see me use the most because it's broken. It's so good. And I have on spell cast increase frost damage by 30% for 5 seconds. So all told, I'll cast a spell, I'll use this, and I'll just melt everything. Then we've got this, the Gloomy Live Wire. Again, I haven't got really lucky getting the guns that I love on Chaotic or Volatile yet, but that'll come. I'm still able to melt most things. It doesn't really matter because of the combos. Here we go. Spell shot damage increased, poison damage increased, and then here we got. Okay, this is a big one. On spellcast, increased damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds. Also, big ward at almost 5,000, and then plus 10 maximum health. That comes in handy a lot as well. Recharge delay and recharge rate don't matter. Otherwise, I would have picked something else. But because I'm not recharging my ward the traditional way, it doesn't matter. Then we got spell damage, spell critical hit chance, and then we've got spell damage plus AR mag size, which is huge for the bread slicer, and AR critical hit damage. Over here, spell shot Greyborn. I don't have a perfect spell shot Clawbringer one, unfortunately, which is the major downside to this right now, but this has plus spell damage, plus all damage dealt, and plus ability critical damage. Spells. These are really what I focus on. I've got the Jacketed Gelatinous Cube. This is a lot of fun. If you don't like this particular spell, there's others like Jacketed Eruption that I could have used instead. Does a little bit less damage, but it has 2 spell charges. So this one is also fine. I just like the Gelatinous Cube because it's kind of hilarious. And then the Buffmeister is probably the best spell in the game, to be honest. And after casting, your gun and melee have 30% critical hit chance for a short duration. Increased direct damage dealt by 185, lasts for 9.8 seconds. Spell damage increased. This is just a crazy spell. It doesn't seem like a lot of damage, but the buff is actually huge, and you'll see it whenever I cast this. I go from doing solid damage to just melting everything. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the gameplay. That was my video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this build for sure. My name is JoPaWrites, and I'll catch you all later.
To the best. not to mess with me. Didn't I? I don't know, I want someone. You absolute sap! I love it.